Hey there, all HR people. Welcome back to HR Unscripted. I'm Deepika, the HR partner at Nilogam. And today we are continuing our session on the mental health. But today I have invited one of my amazing colleagues that you know already. She has been on this platform for around, I think, more than two. So now I would like her to share her insights on the topic. That's definitely really very important, like mental health at work. And she will be sharing her experience with it and how she break that stigma around mental health in the workplace. But before starting, I would really like to have a great welcome of my colleague Bea. So, Bea, very welcome back to our HR Unscripted videos. So,
Hi.
I'm very excited to here invite you. So today we are going to talk about the mental health. So before starting, the first thing, why do you think that mental health is such a tough topic to discuss at a work?
Okay, before I answer that, I want to say hi to everyone. Thank you for having me again. I feel like I'm your favorite guest here. So thank you, Deepika. Okay, so why mental health is important? Is that the question?
Yes.
Yes. So I think, everyone goes through life, not just work, but life itself goes through different ups and downs. So I think, having something, that is openly open in the workplace with mental health is, important, I would say. Yeah. And I think, more and more companies now are um having this services for the employees, because I have a friend also that they have this as a service for the employees. So really really good topic, to talk about.
You know what, Bea? Basically, I had my research, so I have already shared one stats in my video earlier with the mental health. That one every in out of eight employee, one employee really do not speak about it, right? People really choose to have a silent that they don't want to discuss it with the team. So why it is so tough to even tell you that yeah, I'm feeling stressed, I'm stressed, I'm anxiety, I am feeling anxiety about it, right? So people
Mhm.
choose to not speak about it. So why it's very tough to speak up also?
I cannot speak for others, but I can speak for myself.
True.
I think that mine would be, previously I wasn't really open about, talking about me being stressed at work, because one of the things is that we all, not we all, but I want to, appear to be strong in my colleagues, and like, show to the boss and the HR that, I'm really strong and all that. And with that, we tend to suffer even more. I think I tend to suffer even more because, sometimes your work gets really affected by it. You just don't, tell anyone. But I think that, that's my reason actually.
Not an issue because I definitely you can speak up for yourself. And this mental health is very personal or individual topic, right? Everybody's stress are different. What
Yeah,
you are what you are feeling stress about, I might be it's not a big deal for me, right? So it's
exactly.
an yeah, it's a different thing. Okay, so can you share me an exact moment where you when you felt your mental health was at its lowest due to the work, and tell me that are you able to manage it or how did
Right.
you overcome if you did?
Yes, so I had a few, a few instances that this happens. Previously, one of the things is when you're in somewhat in sales or in the marketing, there would be some expectation that, okay, you have a goal of increasing the sales. For example, if I would be working I was working with, a numbers, so you gotta reach that, or you had a quota, right? So at the back of your mind, you somewhat are focusing on that goal, and when you're seeing that your efforts are not getting into that, it had gotten into me. And like, you start telling yourself that, my efforts are not, going in the right direction, things like that. So it gets to me. And that's when you started thinking and overthinking, about your performance and somewhat your identity with it. So again, that is my experience. And some people might not have that. They just say, well, my efforts didn't do, so it doesn't matter to them. So I think it's more on how the person is viewing the challenges, and how they deal with it. So every one of us have a very, diverse coping mechanism to things, and maybe the way we brought up or our personality. So it really varies. So that's actually my experience on that. And how did I overcome? So it really boils down to speaking up and communicating, how you're feeling to your boss or your HR or whoever. You need to communicate that too. So when I opened that up, my boss would say, it's okay. It's either one or two, one or two solutions for it. Either you're gonna lose the job because you didn't perform well, or your boss would be there to support you and ask you what support do you need, and give you some advice, things like that. So I got the second one. Of course, my boss gave me advice, and had kept me, kept my spirits up, but yeah, so that's how I experienced it.
So where definitely the options that you shared is true, because definitely you are not performing right the productivity, and they might tell you, you are not productive, we are firing you. Or the other thing is that they will tend like a support to you, right? So
Yes.
my next question to you, definitely we will talk about the productivity later on, but tell me about, lot of people struggle with it, right? So
Mhm.
tell me the situation in your previous organization, or maybe where you saw that mental health wasn't addressed properly at work, and how did it impact, right? Any situations, any examples that you can share with us?
There was a company that I was working for before, that didn't really have this structure, of having mental health for the employees. So I think one of the ways that it would have affected, maybe is that um employees would really either quit, when things get tough, really tough, or they'll suffer through it, I think. So yeah, I think those will be the cases.
Like you're telling the burnout that you will get.
Yes, yes, you'll just continue doing what you're doing, or either you're just gonna quit.
True, true, true. Okay. So now, like, how do you think that this pressure to perform, like you shared, you are in a sales team, you have a numbers to match, right? Your goal
Mm-hmm.
is to hit that number. So how do you think that this pressure to perform affects mental health in a company? And I think being in a company, what company should take step to elevate that pressure?
Mm-hmm. So definitely, I think jobs do have certain pressures on them. Um, challenges are there to keep you growing. So that's the reality, I would say. Next is the question was again.
What step that a company can do to not to elevate that pressure?
Right. So I think, maybe assess the person's capability. Maybe the person needs training. So that's actually one way. Maybe they were not fully equipped to tackle the task. So depends, in every situation. Again, and I think, having having that one-on-ones, I think, with HR also, like really talking about, like, if a person's performance is tanking, what's going on, really really knowing, because there are a lot of reasons behind why a person's performance may be, going down, or um you know something. But yeah, so those two, I think trainings and one-on-ones. And I think that, you know, being able to really talk to your employees and being able for me to talk to the HR and really just say what I want to say is really kind of like creating that relationship, you know, of a good relationship.
So I think definitely we are. Every job has a pressure, as you mentioned. That if I'm in HR, I do have a different pressure. Not to put up a sales, but definitely I do have a little works pressure that different. Everything has a different. But
Yeah.
definitely the step that a company can do is open communication about it. I think that you talked about it. Open communication will be the key, that where employee feel okay to share that no, I'm feeling pressurized about the work, right? It's like that, definitely. So you know what, we are like, when we go ahead, and definitely everything has some of the challenges and the barriers to it, right? So have you ever felt that, like, do you think that there are any culture barrier to affect mental, like speaking about mental health in an organization, that is it make it harder to employ to speak about their mental health? Have you ever felt that?
Um, uh, I don't know. Maybe some, you know, some cultures may differ from others. So there may be, you know, but for my experience here in Nirogam, actually, this is the first time that I have um experienced like a mental health sessions and things like that. So, and the first time that, you know, like therapy sessions are nice, you know, when you really feel like, you know, you want to talk to somebody. So, you know, I don't think that culture, you know, the culture here in Nirogam had a barrier with that, you know. So, yeah.
Great, great. Okay. So moving ahead, that what support system do you think that within our workplace have been most effective in helping employees with the mental health challenges? And what are your suggestions for to the other organization that they can to implement that?
Mm-hmm. So again, you know, having mental health or mood space. No, I'm not I'm not promoting mood space. This is not a partnership promotion for them. But we have you know, we have services for mental health, which is really, really good. You know, so you know, even our sessions, like group sessions, you know, are really helping, you know, and being able to have the group of all of us employees in a one session and be able to open up about things are really nice. You know, you feel that you're not alone when other people open up. So that's nice.
Great, great. I think not we are definitely not promoting mood space here. Any mental wellness channel that you suits you well, right? That like that us, that we have also have different channel in the mental health wellness. We tried that, so it's a huge thing available in the market too, for every like organization. What suits you, just take that support, because that's really now a new way of working, where employer are prioritizing the mental wellness, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so there are different ways that you can do. Ours is that taking a third party help in creating those space where employee feels safe to share their feelings about and how they are feeling at work and what are the problems they do have. Great. So, with all of those things, like, what do you think that being an HR professional or a team member or a leader can do? So, Vaya, thank you so much. And I think one question that I have in my mind is, what do you think that being an HR professional or maybe a leader or maybe a team can do to make this mental health a more open and supported topic at all?
Well, I think that um the you know, the HR should be the leader, and I think this question is for you actually. You know, the HR should be kind of like make the lead, you know, to actually start the conversation. I think because many employees would feel hesitant to, you know, to just speak up about it. So when you have a platform or a project in place, I think the HR is the one who needs to lead that and encourage others, you know. So how
True.
about you? I think it's a question for you, actually.
Definitely. So guys, to all my viewers, I have already made a video on that. How you can implement a mental wellness program in your company. But as where you have asked, so what are the tips and tricks that I have mentioned in my earlier video is that creating a policies around it, that what people are doing right now, and the policy will not be like you will be getting this much of monthly sessions, not like that, not mandate, but definitely a policies around that. We do have a mental wellness program, and we do have a in a monthly employee training sessions, all of those, creating supporting employees with and awareing, getting them aware about that what are the mental issues that come up. Well, how do you create that positivity around yourself? How do you create? How will you elevate that pressure? So there are lot of education available over, right, on the online platforms too. So
Yeah.
I think HR and all the leaders and all the team members those with whom when you are working, I think educating is one of the issues. Like definitely we need to educate people, make them aware about what are the things available, right? And the second thing again, about the mental wellness program, you should have that right now. People are prioritizing it, employer are prioritizing it about. So these all are the techniques or how one can create a mental wellness program in your organization. I have shared all of in the detail in my video. So please go and watch, everybody. Okay, Bea. So now any other thing that you would like to talk on this, or we should proceed further?
Um, I have a question for you. Like, being the HR program, and you also are openly asking, the employees about what's going on with them, and our by monthly check-ins, things like that. So how do you offer, as yourself, help to your employees? Like how do you handle that? I guess that's the question.
Okay. So definitely in our bi-monthly check-in, when I started to do that, the one objective that I have there, something that might be my employees are not like sharing it, right? So I think I need to talk to them to know that what exactly is their feeling. Are they feeling sad about their work? Are they feeling happy? Or do they feel satisfied with their work, and anything that they are challenged with? That being an HR or being a leader, let's suppose, or being a team member, one can help it with, right? So I started doing that, and when I started talking to my people like in a regular check-in, like a 15 minutes call with them, a 10 minutes, I started seeing that somewhere some employees are not doing okay, right? They are feeling not very good about the work or what, and they also started. So I created, you create a platform around it where you can openly speak about it, right? And when you create that no, we are at the same level, she's also sharing, I should also speak about it. True. So when you create those space with employee where you are creating building a relationship, sharing also, I also openly share that I also felt that. I do also have a stress of this. If I'm openly sharing with you, then definitely you will also open up, right? You will not feel challenged to have a talk with me because oh, what if Deepika will judge me, right? What if that it will goes negative? What if what if Deepika will say no, you are not productive, let's go, right? Like those stuff. That's the line. That's why the people hesitant to speak about it, right? That what other people will perceive about me, that I'm sick, I'm mentally sick, I'm not productive, right? So to build those culture, I think the best thing that you can do to start talking, right? We all are like, even with the office, we are always busy working, but at least take out some times. To all my advice to all the leaders, take out some time, talk to your people, that what they are feeling, what is their actual feeling. It's not only about, hey, how are you? They will say, yeah, fine, right? But read those lines, right? Like with the fine, there are two ways that one can say fine, and then other can say, oh yeah, I'm really fine, right? So there is a little bit different, and read between the line and start noticing that the change in your impulse. I think where there you can start this conversation.
Great, thanks.
Great. Okay. So yeah, I do have another question for you. That let talk about you on personal level. Okay. So like, what are some things that we, even as an individual, can do to support our colleagues who might be struggling with their mental health? I'm not talking about like, let's HR always talk about it, right? That okay, we need to do this program, we need to do this. You just go and there. But as an individual, what are our responsibility towards it? As a colleague.
Yeah, I think it's important that we actually check in on our colleagues as well, because sometimes we're so busy in our roles, especially now that we're all working from home. Many of us work from home. So it's, we're all sitting in well, for me, I'm alone in the office. So it's really, you're working, but you're working alone, so, you might have, some colleagues that are also, dealing with something. So having some check-ins, even if they're in your, I I'm telling this, but I don't really, but at times when I'm having a meeting, you will feel at a person, when you're talking to a person, that there's something bothering them, or the way that their voice sounds like. So I think that truly matters, that um, just asking, like, how are you really, because a lot of us would say, I'm okay, I'm fine, but if you kind of like press on them, like, how are you really doing? And some people might be open about talking about it, some people might not. So just being able to asking others, how are you really doing, is a big thing, because you never know that that person really needs somebody to talk to.
I think that is the one ground you can start a conversation about, right?
Mm.
That is that's how one can start talking about it, I think.
Mm.
Great. Okay. So we are now talk about the future. That what long-term changes do you think that any organization need to make to ensure that mental health is a sustained priority for an employee?
Well, I think that now that the stigma for mental health has been really are going away, that now things are being, people are being open about talking about it. I think more and more, you know I think it will be talked about more. I think for long term, like, um any other things, I don't know, but one thing, those the sessions, mindfulness sessions, things like that are really helping, to break, actually, on a personal experience. It actually breaks and forces us to slow down and be aware of what's going on, because sometimes we're so wrapped up in our workday. So things like that, sessions, mindfulness sessions are nice. But definitely, I think the conversation will keep going when it comes to mental health. And um, it's good that employees feel that the company is concerned about the employees' mental health. So that's good.
That's really going to be the future. Okay. So thanks for those insight, Bear. It's really important to not only remember about others but also about taking care of ourselves. As but before we wrap up, I would like to have your any final thoughts or advice for our viewers on how they can be a mental health advocates in their workplace.
All right. So I think I just saw this today. There's two dogs that are in the mud, but the other dog is smaller than the other dog. So they're this. But they both went into the same mud. And as you know, even if you went through the same things, the effects are different. The mud would be, if you ask the dogs, how's the mud, the other dog would say, the smaller dog would say, it's really high, like up until here.
Yeah.
But the other dog would say, it's okay, it's like up until here. So
Mhm.
it's a really good kind of like a picture of how um, people deal with stressors in their lives. Some people are wired differently and personalities and all that. So I think what is important is to have an open mind and have that empathy that even if other people can go through stressors really good, can cope really good, some people might not be. So I think that empathy is the most important thing right now, when you deal with that. And really, if you can offer some advice, if you've been through the same thing, talk about your experience, because I think that's all there is. We're all human, and humans are wired for connection. And you feel that you're loved. I think that it all boils down to that. You feel loved, you feel comforted, and you feel encouraged. So yeah, that's my one thing, my takeaway.
Yeah, definitely. Because let's suppose there are a lot of feeling and emotions, right? We are humans. We are not AI. We are not. We can't get automated. We can't feel same at a time. In the morning we are very energized, and in the evening we are very so dull, right? We don't want to work at that time. We want to relax, have a fun, and those stuff. But in the morning, and so that's like that. Like sometimes you will feel happy, sometimes you are stressed, sometimes you feel anxiety about things and like that. So I think that's the personal experience. It's differ. Even where right now I felt different when I was having those stress and anxiety. You felt different, right? People have their own experiences, and I would really encourage now people to talk about it with their colleagues, and that let's start from a very first step, creating that conversation, the open conversation about it, having those, not only how are you, but how really you are feeling. So we can change the how are you to the how well you are really feeling today. So that's really make a difference. A very small step we can take, right? Any question you have, any final thing that you would like to ask me? Then if not, then we'll wrap it up.
um I think that's it for me, Deepika. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much, Priya, for joining us today and sharing your experience and insights. I think that our viewer will take away a lot of from this discussion that we had. And to all our all HR people, or all the leaders and all the team member that who are watching our video, remember, supporting mental health in the workplace is everyone's responsibility, not only HR's. And let's keep this conversations going on about it, that and make sure that we'll be doing our part to create a supportive and a stigma free work environment. And that's all for today episode of HR Unscripted. If you found this discussion valuable, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future episodes. And as always, keep it real, keep it unscripted. Here we are signing off, me and Bea. Bye bye.